Chair.
Good morning, Ms. Sigels Ngube. Good morning, Colonel Roelofse.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. Chair, the first witness is retired Colonel Kobus Lebeya Roelofse, and he will take the oath.
Colonel, do you swear that the evidence you are going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you, Colonel.
Thank you, Chair.
And I do give you that information when I take your warning statement. But to come to the investigating officer with a prepared statement, warning statement, it seems to me that you had to have prior knowledge of your version of events based on the evidence that was given to you and on which you can base your affidavit. So that was my biggest concern. We can't sit and put our thumb on the scales of justice one way or the other. It has to be done correctly.
In sum, you are saying having the complainant's statement, there was at the lowest, there was the possibility of him tailoring his version in accordance with the content of the statement.
Yes, Commissioner. In fact, I'll go a little bit further than that because there's no other reason as to why you want the complainant's statement beforehand. You want to see what she's saying or he is saying. Yeah. And you have to then, and you will tailor your version in so that it doves with what the complainant says. So it's difficult for me to understand any other reason for you doing it, because that's the only inference that I take away from this. And that is why it was so concerning. And I mean, this kind of modus operandi is being, I've seen this before where suspects get access to documents prior to them having warning statements or prior to them when they are supposed to be, when they're only entitled to have documents. So this does happen. And in this specific case, it did happen.
How does that differ from a situation where before a witness testifies in court, that is a criminal court, they actually do get the statement? So in a sense, one could say or make the point that the situation is similar. So what's the difference?
No, it's not similar, Commissioners. From my point of view, and I mean, as an investigating officer, it is very important to me to, when I do a warning statement, that I inform the suspect of the complaint, not what the witness was saying, because I need the suspect's version of events if he is going to give it to me or not. That's a different ballgame. If he's not giving it to me, then obviously I can't take it further. But if he is willing to give it to me, I can't tell him beforehand what the suspect said, because it's unethical and it's not allowed. So,
Thank you.
Can I just find out, in the normal course of events, when does a suspect become entitled to the contents of the docket?
Normal
if things are done procedurally, when does the suspect become entitled?
Procedurally is when he's either represented or not represented, and the court and the case is before court, and there is a disclosure to the defense, either through his lawyer or to himself, the suspect himself. That is when you get entitled to the documents.
So it's after you are charged?
After you're charged.
Not during the investigation?
That is correct, Commissioner.
So there are those instances where...
Yes, but...
Yes. I'm not countering what you said, yeah. You're saying but?
No, what I'm saying is at the time you must remember this is at the station level. So you're talking about prosecutorial advice in terms of a docket. What I can't say now is whether the docket went to a prosecutor before the time or not. And if it did, yes, that prosecutor can have access to guidance.
I'm just talking generally.
Yeah, no, I understand that. So, but she could have contacted the prosecutor.
Yes, yes.
So she didn't have to contact someone else.
Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel. Then if we can go back to your statement, page 4, the investigation, that's the heading.
In June paragraph 10. In June 2022, after the meeting with the Colonel, I wanted to interview Mr. Bateman regarding the email he sent on the 3rd of July 2018. I contacted Mr. Andrew Leask of AfriForum because Mr. Bateman was now employed at AfriForum as a media manager. Captain Mclean and I interviewed Mr. Bateman in the presence of Mr. Leask and Advocate Andrea, also of AfriForum. Mr. Bateman informed us that he received the email attachments on the 3rd of July 2018 via WhatsApp from a source that he was not willing to disclose. Mr. Bateman said that Advocate Andrea Johnson, who at the time was a senior public prosecutor in the National Prosecuting Authority, requested the information from him, being the A1 statement J88 and audio file, and he complied with the request on the same day. I could not remember why Advocate Johnson requested the information.
He could not.
Sorry, he could not remember. Paragraph 11. Mr. Bateman also stated that he had a very good relationship with Advocate Johnson going back to 2011.
Colonel, your voice is tapering again. Just raise it. Please listen to your wife's advice.
Sorry, wife. Mr. Bateman also stated that he had a very good relationship with Advocate Johnson going back to 2011. He saw nothing untoward about Johnson's request. Mr. Bateman was requested to provide a statement regarding the matter. Despite numerous follow-ups prior to my retirement in 2025, January, for the statement, I was informed that he only provided the statement to Captain Mclean in June 2026, 4 years after we met with him and requested the statement.
Thank you, Colonel. Can we then go to the exhibit bundle and go
regularly? So it might be just he was giving her information, she was giving him information from what I understood. So it might be in that context. He can't specifically remember why she asked him. But she was specific in terms of what she asked him, because otherwise he wouldn't have provided this.
Yes, if you just look at page 46 of the bundle, because then I just want to, if you look at page 46, this is the email that he sends to her later that evening, 3 July 2018 at 18:05. So he sends it to her, 6 hours, 7 hours later. He receives it that same day. So when you engage him, did he explain whether he already had the information and she knew he had the information, or whether she asked him to get the information and he then got it? Because it can't be a coincidence that she requests it on the very day that he receives it from a source.
No, the impression that I had during the whole conversation is that, she specifically requested this docket. He wouldn't have known giving it to her if it wasn't requested.
Yes.
Which is, as far as I'm concerned, a logical answer from his point of view.
Yes, her request, yes, but how would she know that he had it and had received it that same day that she requests it from him?
From what I understood, she requested him to see if he can get it.
Okay.
So he was supposed to source the documents and then provide it to her.
So he initiates her request and asks his source to get it.
That is what I understood. Yes, that is correct, Commissioners.
That would seem to be in line, because any other scenario wouldn't make sense. It would just be a happy coincidence for her to ask it on the same day that he has it without even knowing that he had it. She would have to have known that he had it to request it, or, as you say, the impression you had was that she requested him to obtain it for her.
Yeah, I think one should also take into account that between the request on the same day, which was in the morning, it was only sent in the afternoon late, which suggests to me that it took some time for him to source the documents.
Yes, but it would seem that on page 45, by 12 o'clock, at least, he already has it, because the attachments start coming in at 11:24.
That is correct.
Yes.
Commissioners.
And he gets the audio recording at 11:08. So if it was an instance where she requested it from him and to obtain it, so he didn't have it at the time that she made the request and she wanted him to get it for her, then I suppose he gets it, and we don't know what informs his decision to only send it later that evening, because he only sends it at 6 in the evening to her.
Did you understand her to say, by forwarding these documents to General Khan, she did not consider that to be anything wrong about it? Was that your understanding of her?
That was my understanding from the comment she made.
Yes.
So there was no explanation as to why. Because on the face of it, there cannot be, and that's my interpretation, there cannot be a good explanation as to why you did it, except if you didn't know and you were duped. And then I expect the other reaction, which I described earlier. Where can I sign the affidavit? Because I was put in a position where I was not supposed to be put in. And you get that normally with a lot of these cases that you investigate. Had I known that scenario. So if she had known, then she would not offer assistance in terms of an affidavit. If she did not know, I would have gotten assistance. So that is how I see the situation.
Thank you, Colonel.
Thank you, Commissioner. Colonel, back to your statement.
Whether a warrant of arrest was issued, you will then close the docket and it will be closed on the case system. And I think in this specific case, it was a nolli prosecute, if I'm not mistaken. So the docket would have been closed on the case system as a nolli prosecute. But as I said, I don't have the docket in front of me, so I'm not sure exactly as what it was closed. But then it get archived. So that is in essence what happened. So there won't be any further queries on the administration system, bring forward dates and that kind of thing. But the docket will show that it's been archived, and you can go and find the docket there.
It doesn't mean, because that's how I had read it, because I don't know your systems. So when you say withdrawn from the CAS system, I had read it to mean it had been deleted from the systems. You wouldn't find it.
It cannot be deleted. There will always be an audit trail, so you can't delete that.
Thank you.
Okay, page 5, paragraph 13 of your statement, Advocate Johnson's knowledge of the allegations against her.
I decided to approach the national head of the DPCI, Lieutenant General Lebeya, for assistance because of the circumstances that I found myself in. I met General Lebeya in the last week of August 2022, but I do not recall the exact date. I informed him of the allegations contained in the Colonel's statement and furnished him with a copy of the Colonel's statement. I told General Lebeya that we needed the NPA to assign a senior prosecutor to the matter. I expected General Lebeya to request the NPA head, at the time Advocate Shamila Batohi, for a senior prosecutor to be assigned to the case. I could not take the matter to a lower court due to Advocate Johnson's position as head of IDAC. Advocate Johnson's position also placed me in a precarious position, because I had been placed at IDAC in Advocate Johnson's office as part of a duty arrangements between the DPCI and IDAC. Paragraph 14. On 7 September 2022, Advocate Johnson approached me at work. I was still at IDAC at the time, and asked me to see her in her office. She told me that she had been called by Advocate Batohi's office, who informed her of the Colonel's affidavit and the allegations against Advocate Johnson contained therein. Advocate Johnson told me the name of the Colonel who deposed to the affidavit. I found it extremely concerning that Advocate Batohi would have told Advocate Johnson about a protected disclosure implicating her, Advocate Johnson, in wrongdoing. I also thought that perhaps Advocate Johnson was able to figure out the identity of the Colonel without Advocate Batohi informing her thereof. But then Advocate Johnson to continue to reveal that she knew the Colonel's affidavit was commissioned by Colonel Wittendal, and she relayed information.
Explain to us what we're looking at on page 58.
This is a screenshot or a photo that I took of, I think it's Mr. Bateman's phone, with the request by Advocate Johnson to go to Signal.
The request from Advocate Johnson to Mr. Bateman on the 5th of September.
That is correct. That's correct, Commissioners. I can also inform the Commission that on various occasions, Advocate Johnson was not only stating to me, but to the office as well, you need to use Signal because WhatsApp is not as secure as you think, and she prefers to use Signal because it's much more secure. So I presume that's the reason why he was asked to go to Signal.
And this was the call on the 5th of September, which you knew about already when Advocate Johnson approached you on the 7th of September.
That is correct, Commissioners.
Okay. So we can go back to your statement at paragraph 21.
Mr. Leesk and I arranged to meet to discuss the matter further. He sent me his location because the location was different to where I had met him and Mr. Bateman, Advocate Nell, the first time. And then it just shows a map that was sent to me.
And then paragraph 22.
If I recall correctly, on 7 September 22, I would have met Mr. Leesk after my meeting with Advocate Johnson. I do recall that Mr. Leesk sent the WhatsApp exchange between Bateman and Advocate Johnson and Advocate Nell before I went to meet him. I know that I did not have the WhatsApp exchange between Mr. Bateman and Advocate Nell when I met Advocate Johnson, which means that Mr. Leesk forwarded the exchange to me after my meeting with Advocate Johnson, but before my meeting with him. Paragraph 23, page 10. Mr. Leesk forwarded the WhatsApp messages from Mr. Bateman to Advocate Andrea on 5 September 2022 to me. These messages are quoted below.
If we could go to page 51 of the exhibit bundle. So this is what Mr. Leesk forwards to you, which is a conversation, which is messages that Mr. Bateman sends to Advocate now after he gets the call from Advocate Johnson on the 5th of September.
That is correct, Commissioners, after his discussion with her.
Okay, if you can then just read from the forwarded, sorry, on page 51.
The fact that you have a source who gave you the documents does not make it in the public domain, not as far as I'm concerned when it comes to a reporter. You can't circumvent the process just because a source gave you the information.
So in short, you say even Mr. Bateman was not properly in possession of the docket, and Ms. Johnson should have known that when she received it from him, and she should not have shared it with the with the suspect in the assault complaint.
That is correct, Commissioners, and I think what takes it further for me is the fact that she requested that private emails being used, because it was done on her Gmail account. She asked the Colonel to go to her Gmail account, and she also asked the Colonel to delete the emails when it was done. So those things, if it was an above board conversation, you would use your NPA email account. You would request the documents because you are actually entitled to request documents in her position. But if you want to put a layer between yourself and the request, that is when you go off the grid and you do it that way. She had access to her official email. She did not have to use her Gmail address and did not have to ask the witness to destroy or to delete the emails. So those are the things that is what made it to, that is what informed me of what she did.
Explanation by Advocate Johnson, there appears to be impropriety. Just making a comment.
That is correct, Commissioner. It appears to be, and I think to me, and once again, it's my opinion. Once again, if there wasn't any impropriety, she would have told me on the 7th. She would have volunteered information saying that I was duped. It might not look good, but it is an explanation, and we could have actually gone after General Khan because what she is allegedly guilty of, he's also allegedly guilty of because he sourced the documents from her.
Thank you. Is it still you?
Yes,
Ms.
yes, Chair.
Lebeya?
Yes.
Good morning, Captain Mclean.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Do you pronounce it Mclean?
Mclean, not toothpaste, Mclean, but A and
I'm asking because when I was a student, we had a dean who was Dean Mclean, but written exactly the same way.
same way.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the captain will take the oath.
Do you swear that? Oh, please place your full names on record, Captain.
Mark Mclean,
Thank you. Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
so help me God.
Thank you, Captain.
Thank you, Chair. Captain, in front of you are two files. The first one has a small file with your statement in it, and then the second file is an exhibit bundle. I just want you to confirm in the
That is involved in this matter.
Yes.
We were looking at her stature in the organization. Very senior. Now the head of IDAC. Worked with all the prosecutors, or most of the prosecutors in Gauteng. The only way and the only reason we waited for the new NDPP is to get us someone that is not in this province, that doesn't know Advocate Johnson, or didn't work with her much to assist us with this prosecution. That's the only reason we...
Assuming that this happened at a time when there were still, 4 years or even more, in fact, an NDPP is there for what, 7 years? Let's say everything had happened, or rather the beginning of everything had happened when 7 years of Advocate Batohi's period was still to run. Would you have waited for 7 years?
To be quite honest, we were actually, we didn't know what to do at the time, Commissioner. And even after she left, our only hope was to see the new NDPP and to get a prosecutor to assist us to take this case forward.
I'm just trying, in my mind, I'm trying to think what makes someone that senior different. Let's say somebody that senior within the NPA had committed the offense of murder, for example. Wouldn't you just investigate that crime in the same manner you would investigate any other crime and take it to the relevant magistrates court, for example, for the initial court processes, bail applications, first appearance, bail applications, and so on? And the prosecutor would be the prosecutor at that level. You don't need an NDPP to pronounce on that.
That's correct, Commissioner. But like I said, I was thinking of where Advocate Johnson was sitting. Excuse me, and the influence he have. We normally do investigations, take it to the local courts. But this one, we had to approach the NDPP's office to assist us with a prosecutor because of where
you are repeating what you have been saying throughout, and you are not addressing the analogy I'm drawing just to understand your thinking. You are not addressing that.
Commissioner, I don't know what to answer.
Okay, all right.
The issue is simple for me. Approach any prosecutor at any court. They will go to Advocate Johnson and say, this docket is here. They will be influenced. Like she was influencing the witnesses. That same influence could have been practiced to these prosecutors if we had to approach any prosecutor at any of these local courts. It would have been the same result as what Advocate Batohi did with us giving the statement or informing Advocate Johnson about our investigation.
With the exception that there might be exceptions of prosecutors who might say, on my CV, I want to have on there that I prosecuted someone as senior as the head of IDAC. Anyway, you've made your responses. Thank you very much.
I confirm that those are the attachments to the email.
And what were the attachments? The photos, what were they photographs of?
When I printed it, I realized that it seems like the contents of a docket. It looks like an A1 statement of Brigadier Mclean.
Had you read the contents at the
No,
time?
I didn't. No.
Okay.
In that page 5 email, you confirm because that because the email address is not shown, it's been redacted for good reason. But you confirm that the email address of Andrea Johnson is not an NPA or SAPS email address.
Yes, I confirm that it's a Gmail address.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. You may continue.
I assisted General Khan by printing the contents of the email. There was nothing strange about this because at the time General Khan did not have his own support staff as yet, and I used to assist him with his administration together with another colleague of mine. What was strange was that the information was sent to my private email and I was instructed to delete the email thereafter. After I received the email from Advocate Johnson, I forwarded the email to my SAP's email address, printed the attachments, put the contents in a white envelope and gave it immediately to General Khan. Whilst I was printing the attachments, I realized that they were photos of the contents of a case docket and an audio file. I cannot remember whether I somehow gave the audio recording to General Khan.
Can I just ask you then if you could please go to page 8 of the bundle?
Okay.
And just to confirm that at the date there's an email from your Gmail account to another email address with your name, and is that the work email address?
At the time, it was my work email address, yes.
Okay, and then the date and time is 4 July 2018 at 13:45.
No, it says 12:45.
12:45, my apologies, 12:45. Correct?
Yes, correct.
Can go back to your, if we can then go to page 9. That is again the attachments till page 11 of the email.
Okay.
And then back to your statement at paragraph 10.
The email contained photos of the A1 statement of Brigadier Petley.
Next to, I suppose, verifying or confirming the strikeout, does any of that scribbling belong to you?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We can go back to your statement.
Sometime later, the same day, I think, or a day later, General Khan gave the white envelope with the contents of Advocate Johnson's email back to me. I kept the envelope, and as stated above, I did not delete Advocate Johnson's email. I do not have one specific reason for keeping the envelope and not deleting the email. The request just seemed suspicious, especially because Advocate Johnson asked for my personal email address and sent the email from her personal email address and asked me to delete the email thereafter. I kept the information and thought that if there was ever an investigation into the assault matter, that perhaps this would be relevant. But Brigadier Petley resigned sometime in 2020 and nothing became of the assault case. I was very fearful to volunteer information, especially given the environment at Crime Intelligence at the time. I was also aware that Advocate Johnson's husband, Colonel Junaid Johnson, worked at Crime Intelligence, and him and General Khan had worked closely together. A disclosure of this nature may have been detrimental to me. However, when Advocate Johnson was appointed the head of IDAC in early 2022, I started thinking about this incident again, and it troubled me all over again. At the time, members of the Hawks were placed at IDAC to investigate matters at Crime Intelligence. I approached them on condition that my identity would be protected. I informed them of the incident and that I prepare a statement setting out my recollection. I did so in August 2022. As far as I'm aware, the DPCI officers investigated the matter, but nothing has come of it.
Sorry, Witness O, just for confirmation, that statement of yours appears on page 1 to 4 of the bundle. If you can go to the exhibit bundle. Then the annexures thereafter, do you confirm?
1 to 4, sorry ma'am.
Page 1 to page 4 of the exhibit bundle. Page 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, I confirm this is my statement and my signature.
And this was the statement that you had submitted to the DPCI officers?
Yes, in 2022.
Okay, thank you. You can continue.
I'm
Conclusion.
confident that Okay, thank you. I'm confident that the person I spoke to on General Khan's phone on 4 July was Advocate Johnson, and that she's the person who sent me the email, instructed me to give the contents of the email to General Khan and delete the email thereafter. I do not know if Advocate Johnson and General Khan have any connection other than the fact that General Khan and her husband work together. In January 2020, I was invited to General Khan's 50th birthday party where Advocate Johnson and Colonel Johnson were also in attendance. I do not know if Advocate Johnson denies that she told me to give the contents of the email to General Khan and delete the email thereafter, but if she does so deny, she would have to explain why would she send the email to me, a person that she does not know. I trust that my testimony will be of assistance to the Commission and its work.
Thank you, Witness O. Chair, that is the evidence of this witness.
Witness O, in paragraph 15, where you say after Advocate Johnson was appointed head of IDAC in 2022, you started thinking about this incident again, and it troubled you all over again. Can you just explain a bit what is it about that would have triggered that concern when she got appointed?
I think because she was appointed to an important post, it concerned me, because if this was above board, she would have sent it at the time from her official email to my official email, and that for me was suspicious.
And did General Khan give you any explanation when he said you speak to her on the phone, why the email was being sent to you?
No, he did not give me an explanation.
Before and after?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
The next witness is witness N, who's indicated that she will be taking the oath.
Good afternoon, witness N.
Good afternoon, Chairperson.
Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Who want to report suspected criminal activity or otherwise disclose potentially unlawful conduct. I would then meet with these individuals, consider the information that they are sharing, and discuss with my superiors what steps I should take in relation to the information that I received. Towards the end of 2025, I received information concerning alleged criminal conduct on the part of Mr. Sunil Bellochun, a senior investigator at the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, which is known as IDAC.
Please continue.
The information contained in this statement remains under investigation, and I bring it forward in order to assist the Commission and for the Commission to determine whether it necessitates further direction by the Commission.
Thank you. Yes, please continue to paragraph 7 under the heading Engagement with the Complainant.
Paragraph 7 reads as follows. In December 2025, I was conducting investigations in the Eastern Cape when I was contacted by Mr. Neil. Mr. Neil was a director in the Department of Community Safety in the Eastern Cape. He was responsible for community police relations and is known to me as we had previously worked together on some criminal matters. Mr. Neil explained that he has been approached by a Mr. Asif Habib Muhammad, who is a Pakistan national. If I may add there, he has an RSA identity document, who complained that he, along with other Pakistani shop owners, were being extorted by a law enforcement officer. Mr. Neil further informed me that Mr. Asif Muhammad had been assaulted by the same law enforcement official earlier in 2025 and that despite laying a criminal complaint, Mr. Asif Muhammad had not been assisted. I agreed to sit down and talk to Mr. Asif Muhammad. In December 2025, an initial meeting was held between Mr. Neil, Mr. Asif Muhammad, members of the tactical response team, and I. At that meeting, Mr. Asif Muhammad informed me that he had been assaulted by his landlord, which is Mr. Sunil Bellochun, on the 27th of September 2025. He explained that his landlord was a law enforcement officer and a member of IDAC. He said that during the assault, Mr. Bellochun had punched him, leaving him with a bloody nose, loose teeth, and torn clothes. He provided a photograph he had taken of himself, displaying the injuries he said had been caused by the assault. This photograph is attached as X1.
Thank you, witness N. I'll just place on record that annexure X1 appears on page 1 of your annexure bundle. We won't flight that visual, but just for you to confirm that that is the image that was provided to you. Page 1 of your annexures.
Indeed. It is, Commissioners.
And perhaps for completion, can I inquire why in paragraph 10 that initial meeting was attended by members of tactical response team as well?
Commissioners, because I am always accompanied by members of combat, which happened to be the tactical response team on the day.
Thank you, witness N. You are at paragraph 11 on page 3.
Paragraph 11, Mr. Asif Muhammad explained that on the same day of his assault, he went to the East London police station and laid a criminal charge against Mr. Bellochun for assault with the intent to cause grievous bodily harm. He further explained that on the same day, he received a telephone call from someone who said that they are calling from the East London police station. While he was still speaking to that person, Mr. Bellochun could be heard shouting that Mr. Asif Muhammad must come back to the police station and that my police will deal with you. That is quoted from what he actually said.
Thank you, witness N. Please proceed.
Paragraph 13. Mr. Asif Muhammad shared that later that day he received an SMS from Mr. Bellochun informing him that a case of fraud in the amount of 400,000 rands had been opened against him by Mr. Bellochun. Mr. Asif Muhammad explained to me that he had lived at a property belonging to Mr. Bellochun, believing that he would be safe living at a property belonging to a policeman. Instead, he was further subjected to more demands for money and that he witnessed the delivery of suspicious goods to the property, such as televisions, etc. I then cautioned Mr. Asif Muhammad that the information he was providing with regards to an official had to be verified. Upon being presented with this information, I elected to go to the East London police station and asked the branch commander to uplift the dockets. In the usual course, if a member of the public approaches me with such information, I would either advise them to go to the police station and report the crime, or I would commence a preliminary investigation myself. In this case, however, Mr. Asif Muhammad had already laid a complaint, and he informed me that since opening the case in September, he had never been contacted by a member of the SAPS. I then decided to approach the branch commander for the East London police station and explain the situation to him. He gave me permission to uplift the dockets and make copies. I in turn undertook to update the branch commander in the event that my investigation yielded any developments. When I turn over to the paginated 5, I took it upon myself to make further inquiries as the matter involved possible policeman corruption. police corruption, which I am empowered to investigate. This gives a member of the public an anonymous route to report information about potentially criminal conduct by a police officer, staff member, or volunteer.
Witness N. Witness N.
Pardon?
When you say in paragraph 19 that you took it upon yourself to make further inquiries, and you say at the end of the sentence, that this is something which you are empowered to investigate. Please expand on that and explain what you mean by empowered to investigate.
When I say empowered to investigate, commissioners, I mean that since I am in the anti-corruption unit, we look into the abuse of entrusted power or authority for personal, financial, or potential gain, and also that corruption undermines the rule of law and erodes public trust in institutions. I am under anti-corruption, and a police officer, so I am empowered to do so.
Okay, please proceed. You are at paragraph 20 on page 5.
I also took steps to verify the information that I received from Mr. Asif. In particular, I contacted a law enforcement who I was informed had resided in the same property belonging to Mr. Bellochun. I spoke to him in order to seek further information about the property and left my contact details with him. On the 22nd of December 2025, I was contacted by Mr. Bellochun via a WhatsApp call and text making me to understand who he was. The WhatsApp texts are attached as X1
demanded from Mr. Asif Mohammed.
I understood this to be some kind of a protection fee, commissioners, that Mr. Bellochun was extorting from this individual.
And your basis for that understanding stems from?
It stems from the provided bank statement from the victim, which depicts regular payments weekly or 2 days apart or 3 days apart of exorbitant amounts.
Witness N, perhaps before we go to those bank statements, in the paragraph immediately thereafter, in paragraph 29, you deal with the issue of the WhatsApp conversations. Perhaps address that paragraph and then let's continue from there, please.
He shared a printout of the WhatsApp conversation, which I attached as X7. A reading of the messages reveals a pattern of Mr. Bellochun repeatedly demanding money from Mr. Asif Mohammed, and threats to him are highlighted. He also provided
Witness N, before we get to paragraph 30, you reference annexure X7 in paragraph 29. You see that?
X7, yes, I do.
Could I ask you to go to page 33 of your annexure bundle, page 33?
It was Mr. Asif Mohammed himself who gave me this printout.
Thank you.
From his cell phone and the conversations between himself and Sunil.
And witness, and this document is quite a voluminous document, but in certain places, certain aspects of the document have been highlighted. I'll take you, for example, to page 46.
Yes. Where it says, I will kill you.
The pink highlight on page 46.
That is correct.
Do you see the date there? Could you read the date and the time?
The date is the 21st of August, 2025 at 17:25.
And the sender of the message is?
It is written Sunil.brew.
And this is the individual who, the screenshot that you referred to earlier on page 55.
That is correct.
And in your witness statement, you indicate that this is an extract provided to you by Mr. Asif Mohammed of his WhatsApp chats with Mr. Bellochun, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And who presented this highlight in the texts? Who made these markings in the WhatsApp chats?
When Asif pointed out, I then highlighted as he pointed out because I did ask him to show me when exactly and where does he state certain averments were made.
And so